Alright, so this is the next setup that I made. I need to make electrum so I can make electrum plates and lead plates and all that, so I can make redstone flux cells. The redstone flux cells are basically batteries, so I can store energy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna help me. Power the basic right here, the basic assembler and the extruder, so I can make plates and everything else, and gears and rods and all that, and then I don't have to use my tools or whatever. Um, yeah, so this whole setup basically starts over here. It's an infinite water source right here, real simple. You know, use slabs right here to keep the water in, and a solid block. So when you take a bucket and you put the water out into the world or whatever, you could put it against a solid block, because if you put it onto a slab, it's gonna waterlog the slab and water's gonna go everywhere. But anyway, I have a mechanical pump from Create connected to that. That's connected to the low pressure steam boiler from Greg Tech. Right here, this is a low pressure steam boiler, and that's outputting steam into a tank. It's going through create fluid pipes or whatever, because gases and all that counts as fluids. Another pump connected to the tank, and then regular pipe connected to the low pressure steam alloy smelter. So this is a very early game alloy smelter that's basically based on steam, and this is the only way you could do it in this pack. I'm used to in Greg Tech being able to use the mortar, the mortar, the mortar, the mortar and pestle or whatever to crush down your ores in the dust, and then you can just combine them together in your 2x2. But you can't do that in this pack. You have to use the alloy smelter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So put enough cells onto this just to give it enough power in order to turn the RPMs up. You know what I'm saying? So I had to add a rotational speed controller. Anytime you add a rotational speed controller to one of your contraptions or whatever, you can turn it up. You can turn up the RPMs. The RPMs is revolutions per minute. So revolutions per minute is how many times it actually spins around in a circle. You have to connect that to a large gear. You know what I'm saying? So I connected it to the large gear. The large gear is connected to the encased chain drives or whatever, and that's how I'm routing the rotational power around. So it routes around from over here, from the gear that's connected to the rotational speed controller, routes all the way around here, routes to right here, and that's how I could connect to these pumps. I have cogs connected to these pumps that are spinning, so I can make these pumps actually work. You know, pulling the steam out here, sending it over here, sending the rotational power over here, all the way down here, so I can connect to this cog right here, and you can see all that connected over here. And that's basically a real simple setup. You know what I'm saying? It looks more complicated than it actually is, like most things. You know what I'm saying? It just looks more like bulky and complicated, but it's actually super simple. And that's what I'm doing right now to get my alloys, whatever. So this is full of steam right now. The tank is full of steam, so now I can throw my gold in there, throw my silver in there, and I have to wait a little bit in order for this to build up steam. You know, like I said, it's a steam age, so this is really slow. I thought I was basically bypass the steam age, but I didn't. So I got enough steam in here to actually process this. So now I'm getting electrum ingots out of this. And like I said, I need these to make plates. You can make a lot of stuff, rods and everything out of this. Rods out of this, plates out of this. Looks like only rods and plates. Everything else doesn't matter. No, you can't. You make foil out of this. Double pressed electrum plates. A lot of this other stuff I don't need. You can use these for what's the names. And this is for wires. It seems like you can't even make this in your inventory. That's interesting. Like all the alloys you can't make, but you can make the regular metals into rods and plates and screws and all that, nuts and bolts and all that. I guess that's how they gate it. You know what I'm saying? Gate the higher tier materials. You know what I'm saying? You get it the higher tier tools and machines and all that behind but behind harder to get metals and stuff like that. So since this is an alloy, you know, that's how they're gonna gate it. So good to go. And they wasn't moving as fast before. I just got it to move this fast, and that's only because I waited for the steam to completely fill up, and that's basically it. So I could turn this entire thing off. It's gonna still keep producing steam. Any extra steam that I have is gonna vent off out of the machine. Hopefully this will stay full of steam and won't vent out. I'm not making any extra steam or sending any extra steam. Hopefully this fluid tank will keep the steam that is in there, so I can come back here, come back down here, and make some more alloys. And I'm doing this basically underneath my base. Also changed the free cam out or whatever, so I'm standing right there or whatever. But you can see everything I got going on. I extended this a little bit and got this to work. I haven't made it set up yet for this, but I'm producing steel out of this now. Producing a lot of steel, so everything's good. You know, it took a little bit of grinding to actually get this done because I ended up making the wrong machine first. You know what I'm saying? Like making these machines is no snuff, is no what's the name. So I'll show you the recipe for this. Mind you, right now I have to do all of this manually. I know I have it over here. So first you got to make plates. You got to make sure you have a screwdriver in there. This was really easy to make. It wasn't that difficult. This right here requires bronze floor pipes or whatever. So that's easy to make as long as you got the tools. I got the tools. Then I had to make this. Got to get the bricks. I had to smelt down clay. You know, it wasn't really too hard to make, but I ended up making something else incorrectly. You know, I made a component for steam age right here. Solid steel machine casing, and I wasn't supposed to make that. And I made that by accident, whatever. Got mad about it because it took me a little bit of time or whatever to make that. You know what I'm saying? I was meaning to make something else. I forgot what it was. Like a basic alloy smelter or whatever out of steel or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to go and use the steam components or whatever. That was the only way I could really get this done. But yeah, that's basically it. So now I got 28 ingots electrum. You know, I can start to make my right here redstone fluid cell. So lead plates is nothing. Electrum plates is what I actually need. And then in order to actually make this, you need to you could do it in an alloy smelter, but you could do it manually. Just take a block of redstone and right click it onto the redstone cell frame or whatever. And that's basically it. This is basically a battery. So what I'm going to be doing is utilizing this right here. This is create new age, and it makes electricity, but it makes Fe forge energy, which isn't compatible with GregTech. GregTech's power measurement is called EU energy units, which is from IC2 from back in the day, Industrial Craft 2 power measurement from back in the day. So I'm sending that power down here to this block right here. It's LV low voltage 1A energy converter from Greg Tech or whatever. So it converts all the forge energy into EU. You know what I'm saying? So it has 2,404 energy in it. Yeah, 2.04K. Yeah, 2004 energy. You know what I'm saying? And when you convert it into EU, it turns into 512 EU. So that's not even one. That's not even 1K. But you know, it converts it into power anyway. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm using that to power this Tinker's workbench or whatever. But this uses Fe. You can see it in the tooltip. All the Greg Tech on what's the name use EU, so I have to convert it again. So that's the reason why I'm using the energy cells. And I already tested this whole theory of what I'm talking about. I tested it out already in the creative world, so I know it works. So that's my way to also get around using the Greg Tech cables, because I don't really like Greg Tech cables, and I'm not really familiar with them like that. Um, because I don't know if they have the whole what's the name of machines blowing up, but when I use when I was first learning Greg Tag back in the day, like 1.7 or whatever, the machines used to blow up. I don't know if that's in the Greg Tech Community Edition now, which is the modern version of Greg Tech. But I think it's a fork of Greg Tech 5 or something like that. But it's the one that everybody uses nowadays. It's the most modern version or whatever. I don't know if they still have that in there where the machines blow up, but Greg Tech is also one of those mods, or those tech mods that's basically modular and configurable. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how it's configured for this pack or whatever. So I don't want to deal with my machines blowing up. I'm not about to rebuild bases and all that. If it does, it does. But I don't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So we're doing the by the way, those redstone flux cells. That's from thermal expansion. That's an old block from an old mod. Tried and true, good old trusty thermal expansion. Anyway.